Good morning. I wish to welcome everyone to the meeting and officially declare the meeting open at 9 a.m. Could I remind everybody that Council's ordinary meetings are open to the public and are also recorded and available for viewing after the meeting to provide access to all community members. Attendees in the gallery may be recorded. I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we stand, the Gulnay people, and acknowledge my respect for their current and emerging elders and those in the dreaming, and thank them for the contributions they have made in building our community. I would like to welcome Pastor Suwani Bosalivu from the Tully Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is his first time here today to conduct the opening prayer. Thank you very much and welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to open prayer this morning for the council meeting. As I open prayer, I leave you with a proverb from the Bible which reads, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety." Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gathering us here today. We thank you for the privilege of serving our community. And Lord, we ask that you grant us wisdom as we deliberate, patience as we listen, and unity as we seek the common good. Lord, I pray a blessing over the proceedings today. For each member who will be taking part, Lord, we just pray a blessing over this meeting, Lord. As may we lead with integrity, compassion, and fairness, and may our decisions benefit those whom we serve. Guide our words and our hearts. Let us do so with respect. Where we are uncertain, Lord, we ask for clarity. In all things, let us be mindful that we are here to serve you and our community. We pray for good weather for our show here in Tully tomorrow also, Lord, and again, a blessing over the proceedings. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pastor. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for including the Holly show. Well,
Thank you.
We move on. Are there any apologies? I'd just like to inform the general public that we do have Councillor Renee McLeod on live stream. So she is here. She's not an apology. Councillors are reminded of their obligations to declare any material personal interests or conflicts of interest in matters before today's meeting and to manage those interests in a transparent and accountable manner as required by the Local Government Act 2009. If any councillor has any interest to declare, please do so now.
Yes, through the chair. Look, in item 6.2, perceived conflict of interest, I believe that I may have as this. One of the submitters in this item is Alan Sultana Constructions. My partner works for this company, so I'll be leaving the meeting during this item when it takes place.
Thank you.
I've notified the mayor and the CEO prior to this meeting as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there any other? No one else has got any others. Okay. We'll move on to item 1.1, confirmation of minutes. Call for a mover and a seconder to confirm the minutes of the following meetings as true and correct record.
Happy to move the minutes as a true and accurate record.
Move.
Peter seconds.
Councillor Baines. Happy to second Councillor Purban. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. Any business arising? No business arising?
Stephanie, just to get a resolution.
Oh, you want to do each three? Oh, okay. Sorry, council. Go back to the minutes. We'll do them separately. We'll do minutes for the special budget meeting 25th of June 2026. So can we have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Chewy. Happy to second. Councillor Jessup. Those in favour? Local government meeting 25th of June 2026.
Move.
Councillor Littlemore.
second.
Chewy. Those in favour, and I'll take the other one as done. The special meeting as in Councillor Purban and Councillor Baines. Is that
Yeah.
That works for you? Those in favour? Great, thank you. Okay, thank you. Any business arising? No business arising? Okay, well, we'll move on to Community Grant and Support Program, and Ms. Sabello will present. Missed anything, have I?
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to present the report for the Community Grants and Support Program Guidelines Review. Cassowary Coast Regional Council provides community grants program to support for identified community members and local community organisations that endeavour to make a positive change and contribute to a vibrant community. Applications are subject to eligibility criteria and must complete the relevant application through Council's Smarty Grants portal with all supporting documentation in order for the application to be considered. Grant categories put before Council for consideration are community infrastructure. For community infrastructure, projects must develop, renew, enhance, or improve community facilities that deliver public benefit and quality outcomes for the Cassowary Coast community. Applicants must hold a current agreement, lease, or license over the land or own the building and/or land or written approval for the project to support the application. Some project examples for community infrastructure can include upgrades or refurbishments to existing facilities, as an example, roofing, electrical, plumbing and painting, fencing, grandstands and shade shelters or seating. The next grant category is the Battle of the Coral Sea and Anzac Day commemorations. The Anzac Day and Battle of the Coral Sea commemorations program provides funding for eligible applicants to support commemorative activities for Anzac Day and the Battle of the Coral Sea within the Cassowary Coast local government area. This grant category is invitation only to eligible applicants, including the Innisfail RSL, Cardwell RSL, Tully RSL, and Alarish, and through the Battle of the Coral Sea Committee. The next category is youth financial assistance. This grant supports youth up to 18 years of age for financial assistance with the following: sports assistance, selected by a sports body to represent the state, regional or national level, STEM, academics for science, technology, engineering and mathematics, creative arts and culture, including dance, music, theatre, visual arts and performance, community leadership and advocacy for youth engaging in public speaking, debating or representing youth parliament. Written confirmation from the governing body confirming the individual must be attached to this application as part of the supporting documentation. The next category is the emergent needs funding. The emergent needs funding is to provide rapid response-based support for not-for-profit community groups who are faced with genuine unforeseen expenses when planning community events, activities or initiatives. It is important to note that this program is not intended to serve as a recurring source of funding for the same event or activity on an annual basis. Instead, it is a one-off support mechanism for extraordinary situations rather than a substitute for regular ongoing financial planning for recurring events. Next category is the community projects and initiatives category stream. To create strong, resilient communities and social networks, promote the implementation of sustainable practices for the community, and promote livability and vibrancy of the Cassowary Coast as a community through social, environmental and/or economic activities. There is a new grant category for consideration. The International Women's Day grant is to provide funding to support International Women's Day events to be run by local community groups and organisations within the Cassowary Coast area that recognise and value the achievements and community impact local women make in the region, celebrate, promote and increase visibility of the positive contributions women make in our local community. To be eligible for a community grant, you must be a not-for-profit organisation or auspiced by a not-for-profit organisation. You must also have no outstanding acquittal or reports from previous grant rounds, no outstanding debts with council, including rates and accounts arrears, to be eligible for this program. The recommendation is that council adopt the community grants and program support guidelines as presented in this report.
Thank you.
Questions, if I.
Councillor Chewy.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bello, and a very concise report. You've actually answered a lot of the questions that I was going to put to you, but I still have, excuse me, a couple of points. Great to see the International Women's Day now coming back. So we encourage, obviously it's not a bottomless pit of money that's going to fund that situation. So we need to encourage groups to apply. So
Yes,
if the quota is met, the quota is met.
correct.
Correct. Well, I think that's great because then it takes people from the whole of the Cassowary Coast to support the women in their group, and they can apply for this and have their own
Okay.
event.
Yeah.
Previously it was led by council.
Correct.
This is great.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done. And also, I know that our grants are often over
Subscribe.
subscribed, not oversupplied. Thank you, councillor. But if people need guidance, who do they speak?
Certainly, yeah, they can contact the community development team through myself or Megan for assistance.
Yep.
If they need, we can meet them face to face or contact them if they need
Because I
assistance.
know the quality of the applications has increased
Yes.
incredibly so, hasn't it? So I think somebody who had a very good project was not really great at filling out the forms and potentially not
Yes.
missed out. So we
Yeah.
want to give everybody the same advantage. So
Yes, so we did have the community grant round workshop
Yes.
in May, so had a good attendance for that.
yeah, thank you. And the other one is, these are council grants, but we do know that there are many, many, many grants available. So how do people and community groups and individuals find access to what other grants might be out there in the big wide?
Sure, so community can go onto council's website under the grants and funding page, and there's a little search engine called Smarty Search portal. So it's a national database of grants available around Australia. So you just enter your subject matter line. So if the community group was looking for activities for youth, you just type in youth, and relevant grants pertaining to that will pop up that people can apply for.
Yeah, I think that's great because we know that grant funding supplies a lot of groups and things for different activities. So if they know that there's different ones out there, that's good. And the other thing, sorry, one more very quickly. Do we make it known to our schools about the youth grants that people can apply for, like the STEM and the
Yes.
speech making and parliament? I wasn't aware that we went quite that
Yes,
depth.
yeah. So we will be doing a targeting campaign to the local high schools regarding this.
Excellent. Thank you. Well done. I've moved it as well. So thank you.
Councillor Chewy. If you got a comment, councillor Baines. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Jump to the other side,
Sorry,
top side.
councillor Jessup.
I just wanted to say with the youth awards, the youth grants, we were at the Rotary dinner the other night, and Rotary and Lions, they also work well with the council in having these youth things as well. So it's a really good community establishment, I suppose, between the service groups and the council. So well done.
Okay.
I believe there's a new young blood getting on board, so that's
Yes,
that's great to see.
younger than me. So
Younger than you, probably younger
Still
than
don't
me then. It's good to see young people getting on board. Councillor Mervyn.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. A couple of events I noticed that weren't in here. Is there a reason for that? Is the Innisfail Tully shows and also Feast of the Senses,
Yeah.
they not eligible for this, or is there something?
No, they're through a separate through event sponsorship
Okay,
program through council, which is not in this community grant round.
okay, no worries. Thank you.
Councillor Baines.
Yes, has anyone seconded?
No.
Happy to second.
Thank you.
Just a question, Ms. Sorbello, and I know we have to put protections in place. So in the guidelines, if you've got an application in, you can't put another one in. But some of the smaller groups that use a larger group to auspice, and I mean, it's probably never going to happen, but just say two groups came and then one group was auspicing, would we still treat them
Yeah.
as a separate application piece?
Yeah, so an auspice group can auspice as many times as they like.
Okay, which is good. And then that's about building capability. And okay, that's great. Thank you.
So just one quickly again, you talked about the acquittal process, which I know can be challenging at times for different groups. community seek guidance on helping with acquittals
Yes, they can.
as well? Yeah.
Through this.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
So I think the main point there is to make sure that anybody that wants to apply for a grant or intends to apply for a grant, if they don't have the confidence to do so, then to reach out to parts of our team that can push them into the right direction. And as you said, councillor, there's many grants out there that sit way outside council, and a lot of them never even get touched. So
Yeah, people don't
you
know
know,
that.
if you're unsure and it isn't a council grant, you can still contact our team and they can point you in the right direction of where to go and what to look for. Okay, so we've got a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Thank you, carried. Thank you very much. Back over to you, Ms Sabello.
Yes, thank you. I'm here to present the Regional Arts Development Fund Guidelines Review for 2026 to 2028. The Regional Arts Development Fund is delivered as a partnership between the Queensland Government through Arts Queensland and eligible local councils across the state. RADA promotes the role and value of arts and culture as key drivers of diverse and inclusive communities and strong regions. A review of the RADF guidelines has been undertaken in line with requirements from Arts Queensland. So the review aligns that the assessment criteria, which have been moved from 4 criteria to 3. So the current assessment criteria for RADF in your report is impact, quality, reach and viability. The proposed assessment criteria aligning with Arts Queensland is high quality, strong impact and sustainable value. I just also like to add that RADF is implemented through a funding agreement through Arts Queensland and Council for the funding period from the 1st of July 2026 to the 30th of June 2028. Funding from Arts Queensland is reflecting Council's budget and comprises $41,475 each financial year for 2026 to 2027 and 27 to 28 with a total funding pool of $82,950 from Arts Queensland. The recommendation is that Council adopt the revised RADF guidelines 2628. Thank the RADF Advisory Committee members for their contributions and encourage community members or groups to consider applying to RADF for their project or initiative.
Thank you, councillor
Happy
Chew.
to move as well, but Ms Fellow, the RADF grants, we've had some great outcomes from the RADF grants that have been delivered so far, and it's pleasing to see that they have listened to community, because the messaging that we were hearing constantly that the application was complicated.
Correct.
And too much information was required. So I'm grateful that they have listened and encourage people once again to apply, because it's a great source to reach out to. So
Yeah.
once again, people can seek your team if they need guidance,
Yes.
if they're unsure where it sits.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Councillor McLeod.
Thank you through the chair. Ms Sabello, if somebody goes for a community grant, can they also apply for a RADF grant?
No, they will be ineligible until they quit the first grant that they applied for.
Okay, sorry, further on from that, if somebody's got a funding agreement, can they, like as a sponsorship, can they apply for a RADF grant as well?
No, they'll be ineligible.
Ineligible. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, councillor. So yeah, and the other thing I want to point out is even though it's called Regional Arts Development Fund, that spans across a wide range of subjects. So if you're unsure, please check it out, because this one's usually undersubscribed, I believe, because people don't understand
Yeah.
the meaning of or what can be included in arts. So always double check before you think that you're not eligible.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. Any other comments? No, happy to second. Happy to second, councillor Jessup. Thank you. Those in favour? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Too.
Well done, Ms Sabello.
Move on to governance and environment, and Ms Swift will come and present the financial performance report. Morning. Good morning. Good
Morning, Swift.
Morning.
Presenting the 2025-26 interim financial performance report for June 2026. The Chief Executive Officer is required by Section 204, Paragraph 2 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to present the financial report at a meeting of the local government once every month. The results presented here are preliminary and exclude year-end accounting adjustments that may materially impact the final financial position and performance. Accordingly, the financial position presented should not be considered Council's final financial outcome for the year, which will be confirmed through the preparation and reporting of the 2025-26 annual financial statements, which is underway now. Some points of note. Council adopted the 2025-26 budget on the 25th of June 2025 and approved amendments as per Budget Review 3 on the 28th of May 2026, which are reflected as the budget in the following finance report and attachments. Council's preliminary operating result is a deficit of $7.6 million, which is $3.6 million greater than budgeted, primarily as a result of the accounting entries related to prior year revenue write-offs. I'll now outline Council's revenue position. Rates and utilities revenue is greater than budget by $52,000. Fees and charges revenue is greater than budget by $135,000, with transfer stations, cemeteries, rates and property searches and hall hire being the main contributors to this result. Total interest revenue is $482,000 for the month, bringing the year-to-date total to $4.1 million. Operating grants and contributions are over budget by $2.4 million. This is mostly due to the early payment of the financial assistance grant for the 2026-27 financial year, being $2.1 million greater than budgeted, and also the Mission Beach CBD grant funding of $1.4 million, which was transferred from the capital budget to the operational budget. And these amounts are offset by timing of works in relation to the Community Recovery and Resilience Officers and Community Recovery Rebuild Support Officers funding, which is under budget by $526,000. The Planning Scheme grant, which is under budget by $300,000. The Reef Guardian Round 3 grant, which is under budget by $300,000. And the Works for Queensland grant, which is under budget by $143,000. Other revenue is greater than budget by $344,000 for the year, as outlined within the report, and sales and recoverable works revenue is $437,000 under budget for the year, primarily attributable to timing of works for DETSI, Cat D environmental recovery works, and the roads maintenance performance contract work. In terms of expenditure, total employee expenses exceed the budget by $743,000 or 2%. With wages and salaries underspent within the roads area, offset by DRFA emergent works utilising internal labour of $508,000 instead of external contractors as originally budgeted, which is impacting wages and salaries, overtime and allowances. Variable allowances are over budget by $226,000, with $209,000 related to allowances paid for working in the rain. Other employee expenses include unbudgeted expenses for parental leave, as well as fringe benefits tax and some recruitment and training expenses that have been budgeted within materials and services. Contract labour is over budget by $247,000 due to the use of contract labour in finance and asset maintenance to backfill vacancies. Materials and services is under budget by $401,000, mostly attributable to the Mission Beach CBD works of $1.4 million reallocated through the capitalisation process to operational expense, which is also related to that operating grants variance. And this is offset by unspent expenses as a result of timing of works, which are all related to operating grants and contributions, being the Community Recovery and Resilience Officers and Community Recovery Rebuild, works under budget by $526,000, and DRFA emergent works for December 2025, cost savings achieved by utilising internal labour of $508,000, plant resources instead of external contractors as originally budgeted, and a number of other operational grants. Finance costs are over budget by $4.7 million, primarily as a result of accounting entries to recognise required revenue write-offs of $4.1 million, as per Council Resolution number LG 2026/115 regarding Passage Holdings properties acquired by the Minister for Economic Development, Queensland. Depreciation is also over budget by $1.2 million, and this variance is primarily driven by the timing of capitalisation of assets. In terms of capital, the capital grant revenue shows variance to budget, mostly due to timing of construction works, with the most material being DRFA Tropical Cyclone Jasper reconstruction of essential public assets, mostly related to land slips, which is under budget by $2 million, and DRFA Tropical Cyclone Jasper betterment being under budget by $1.5 million. In terms of the capital works program, there is a full project listing contained within the report attachment. $60.5 million of the total $82.6 million capital budget has been spent. This represents 73% of the total budget. When including commitments, this increases to $71.9 million of the total $82.6 million capital budget has been spent. This represents 87% of the total budget, with 100% of the year elapsed. The following projects are representative of projects that are not yet spent. Mission Beach CBD Master Plan works, that $1.3 million amended from capital to operational expense, matching the amended grant funding as a result of works identified on the state road during the capitalisation process. Upper Darragee works, savings of $1.29 million as a result of a change in the works delivery, and the project is being delivered through DRFA funding. Schuylkill Road works, the contract has been awarded with the project expected to be finalised in late September, with $736,000 carried over into the 2026-27 financial year. DRFA number 6 Branch Road landslip. These works are substantially completed with $643,000 carried over, and savings and delivery costs expected to be realised in the 26-27 financial year. That project is being delivered through DRFA funding. And the Eaton Estate Trunk Infrastructure, $449,000 carried over into the 2026-27 financial year as a result of delays to the execution of the infrastructure agreement, which has now been completed. These 5 projects alone account for $4.5 million of the unspent capital. Onto the recommendation that Council receive and note the 2025-26 interim financial performance report for June 2026.
Thank you very much. I had a question about the 4.7 million, and most of that's recognised as revenue write-off regarding Passage Holdings, and maybe this question is more to you, Mr. CEO, to further explain how that works, because it's not actually unrecoverable. It's writing off as very different.
Yeah, through the chair, absolutely. Council hasn't waived our ability to recover that debt. We've just written that debt off out of our books. So we have been in contact with the liquidator recently. He's aware of the land acquisition, and he'll put a compensation claim in to Economic Development Queensland for the acquisition of that land. When we understand what the quantum of that compensation claim is and how that's paid through the secured creditors, land tax, we'll have a clearer picture on where we can go moving forward. So we'd like to think in the next 6 to 12 months there'll be a picture there, but certainly the majority of that was interest that has been accrued on those outstanding rates.
The other one was the employee expenses with wages and salaries underspent within the roads area, but being offset by DRFA. Could you explain that a bit in more detail, please?
Yeah, where some of our internal labour is, so we'll budget from our internal salary and wages in our operational budget and also in our capital budget. So at times, if we have more of that labour allocated to capital, that can be an underspend in our OPEX, or at other times, if more of it is then having to be allocated into our OPEX, that can have the alternate effect. The salary and wages themselves are very close to budget, considering the quantum over the financial year. Probably allowances has been one that we make assumptions around the allowances every year. We've got some allowances that are some of those assumptions probably didn't come out the way that we had originally predicted, particularly around work in the rain. We have an allowance that we pay when staff are working in the rain, and that disability of working in the rain, they're remunerated for that, or they're provide an allowance for that. I think we're all aware we had a significantly wet season. Hopefully we're towards the end of it now, but yeah, we have seen a significantly increase in some of those allowances, particularly the work in the rain allowance and our on-call allowance for our plumbers and water department.
Thank you. There was one more thing in relation to depreciation. They're over budget by 1.2 million. There's many people out there that don't understand how depreciation for council works, and I'm hearing all the time that we're broke and we're this and that. And I've said, have you read the financial statements? Because that is not how it is. So could you just please give a little light on that for me?
Yeah, look, we are judged on a number of different measures as far as our financial sustainability, and one of those measures, which you could argue is a fairly immature measure, is council spending the same amount on renewal of assets as they are depreciating those assets. So a more mature way of looking at that might be, does council have mature asset management plans in place? And are they renewing their assets in line with those asset management plans? We typically, our financial strategy has said that we will run in a deficit position, but that deficit position in our OPEX is offset by recurrent capital grants. So Roads to Recovery and TIDS are probably the two big ones that we get each year, which we then put into renewal of those assets. So we're not broke, absolutely. What we do is actually use grant funding to reduce the impost that we need to put on ratepayers to fund that depreciation. And those measures are starting to shift, and certainly the local governments now is looking at a measure around what percentage of asset management plans, your AMPs, you're funding, opposed to what percentage of your depreciation that you are funding. But depreciation is, it is, again, we make assumptions around when we capitalise some of the capital projects, when we dispose of some of our assets, and year on year, there's some fluctuations and variance that occurs there.
So if I ask Ms. Swift, she'll tell us that we have a very healthy
Beautiful numbers.
Yeah, we have beautiful numbers, and the cash position is very good. So it's just very difficult sometimes to explain the depreciation part to people that see depreciation in a normal sort of a business, whereas ours is a little bit different. Thank you for that. Councillor Jessup.
Yeah, I probably have answered this myself. But just for those people that might be a little bit worried about the amount in expenditure, employee expenses under other, could you explain that a little further? It looks like close to $500,000 over budget. And did we budget that amount, or is it something that we just sort of can't really budget for?
Included within other is some unbudgeted expenses that do relate to employee expenses. An example of that is parental leave. So it is difficult to determine how much council is required to put aside for parental leave. So we don't budget for that. So that's an unbudgeted expense for council. Also, there was some recruitment and training expenses that we had budgeted for, but we'd budgeted for that in materials and services in that in a different line, and it's come through depending on how that that actual expense comes through. It's come through in a different line item in your employee expenses, so that's why it looks like an overspend in other, whereas our materials and services are under budget. So it's just a bit of a movement there.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's pretty much how I explained it to myself as well. But wanted to clear that up a little bit.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have someone to move.
Happy to second.
Councillor Littlemore. Councillor Jessup seconded. Those in favour? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now move to 4.2, the forward procurement plan, and Ms. Paish will present the report. Did I say that right?
You did, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning all.
Good morning.
Morning, we are looking at the forward procurement plan for 26-27 financial year. The report today summarises the plan, which outlines all anticipated significant procurement activities valued over $292,000 exclusive of GST. A total of 56 procurement activities have been identified across Council's capital, operational and grant funded operations. The plan has been developed to enhance transparency, enable early market engagement, particularly with local suppliers, and improve internal planning to support timely project delivery. It provides a strategic view of Council's upcoming procurement activities and workload, and is a resource that advertises potential upcoming tenders in advance for suppliers. Each significant procurement listed will be managed in accordance with Council's procurement policy and relevant legislation. The forward procurement plan for 2026 demonstrates Council's continued commitment to sound financial management, local economic development, and responsible governance of its external procurement activities. The forward procurement plan for 26-27 financial year is provided at attachment 1. The recommendation today is that Council receive and note the forward procurement plan, which details Council's anticipated tenders and contracts for the 26-27 financial year.
Thank you. Councillor Jessup.
Pretty straightforward, happy with that and happy to move. Thank you.
Councillor Chewy.
Forgive me if this sounds like a silly question, but the panels that panels are, we have panels that go through the applications, is that?
Yeah,
Potential for that through the chair, sorry. There is potential. Are you referring to like the development of a pre-qualified supply arrangement?
I guess I'm talking more tenders, I suppose.
Chair, the evaluation panel
Yeah.
will have an internal evaluation panel, which is overseen and have some probity by the procurement team.
And members, I know that I'm confused myself. That's all right. Oh, but yes, it's all good.
To the chair, we'll typically have members of that panel that sit within that
Yes.
discrete area. So if it was within infrastructure, you would have
Just like-
the civil engineers.
Yes.
Where it's quite repetitive. So in water, we'll often bring in someone external with a different view as well. So you may have one of the water engineers and one of our technical officers in the water area, but you can bring someone else in, so you don't need all of those individuals to be a specialist in that.
So my question is, if that's the case, then would it be normal then to have someone from the department that the application is in for sit on the panel? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Question? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Happy with that.
Councillor Baines.
Did you second?
Oh, I didn't.
No, I'm happy to second. Just a question for Ms. Paish. So, Ms. Paish, this is a forward-facing document that we produce every year that's indicative of our plans.
Yes.
It's not necessarily saying everything on this list is going to happen. There may be things that are not on the list that will happen, but this is the opportunity. As I said, it's a public document, it's forward-facing, so contractors and different people have the opportunity to see what we're thinking about
Yeah.
going forward.
Through the chair, I'd like to say that everything on this list will be tendered this year. That is absolutely our intent. So this list basically identifies every project that's been budgeted for that is a large contractual project. So they'll be these are the ones that will go out for that public tender, whether they're a capital or operational initiative. But intent will be that all of these are tendered this year.
And I understand what you're saying. I mean, the best laid plans are mice and men.
Yeah.
We never, things can happen.
Exactly.
But I think the point I was trying to make was that this is what we want to do. Start preparing yourselves. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Through the chair, for our civil contractors, they can see, how many footpaths we're doing, what road projects we've got. For our water contractors, whether they be local or further afield, the same thing, they can start to get an idea of the scale and scope of those projects. Obviously, our budget's available on our website, and they can go in and get a little bit more detail from the budget process.
Oh, that's great. It's a great process, and it's a real, well, one, it helps our civil contractors, and it's transparency. Here
Transparent.
this is what we want to do. So, yeah, thank you. Well done, Ms. Page.
Okay, no more comments? Thank you. So those in favour? Carried, thank you.
I'm not on camera today.
No brainer, really. No brainer, really.
Oh, it's a great piece of work.
So between that particular document and the one on the back of the financial performance report, all things, if you want to see what we're doing, it's all there. Okay, back over to you, Ms. Page, sorry.
Thank you. Our next item is 5.3, the sole specialised or confidential nature services supplier list. The purpose of this report today is to recommend a list of suppliers that council may enter into a contractual arrangement with without first inviting written quotes or tenders. Section 235 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 provides that a local government may enter into a medium-sized contractual arrangement or large-sized contractual arrangement without first inviting written quotes or tenders if A, the local government resolves that it is satisfied there is only one supplier reasonably available, or B, the local government resolves that because of the specialised or confidential nature of the services being sought, it would be impractical for the local government to invite written quotes or tenders. The intent of the above provision is to promote administrative and practical efficiencies by allowing council officers to procure goods and services where there was only one supplier available, or where the goods and services are of a specialised or confidential nature. It would be impractical for the local government to invite said quotes and tenders. For this report, the procurement team has worked with relevant stakeholders within council to develop and coordinate the proposed list for 2026-27 financial year to ensure the intent and spirit of the legislation is adhered to while ensuring value for money, open competition and removal of red tape. The sole specialised and confidential nature services supplier list for 26-27 financial year is provided at attachment 1. The recommendation is that council resolve in accordance with section 235A and 235B of the Local Government Regulation 2012 that it is satisfied that the suppliers listed are sole suppliers and also suppliers of specialised and confidential nature services.
All right, so here's a scenario. What if somebody new came to town and they were in one of those particular areas that we didn't pick up when we did the list? What would be the action we should take?
Through the chair, yeah. So the teams are expected to still conduct regular market research when they are participating in these engagement opportunities. And if that was the case, then the report would be revisited and brought back to council to remove a supplier.
Okay, so if they brought it to our attention and said, I'm new in town and I'm doing this as well, then we would retract that.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
all right.
If they met the criteria.
Yeah, correct. Councillor Jessup.
So you would retract the sole one that's on there. You wouldn't just add the other one with it?
No, because
Then
It's only sole.
Through the chair, it would depend what the circumstance was, yeah. So if the new supplier in the industry warranted that the previous description on the list of a different supplier was no longer valid, so for example, it being sole, then yes, the previous would need to be removed because it would no longer be sole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moved by councillor Jessup. Happy to second councillor Chewy.
Yes.
All in favour? Thank you. Councillor McLeod.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
thumbs up.
Sorry, I didn't see your thumbs up. All right, then we'll move on to 4.4 annual procurement policy review.
Thank you. This report is provided in accordance with council's policy framework, which is regularly reviewing council policy, being required to ensure good governance and compliance with legislation and standards. Section 198 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 provides that council must prepare and adopt a policy about procurement. It must include details of the principles, including sound contracting principles, that the local government will apply in the financial year for purchasing goods and services, and the policy must be reviewed annually. The purpose of the report today is to recommend to Council a revised policy, which includes updates to the procurement thresholds in line with the Local Government Regulation 2012 CPI adjustment clause, clarification for procurement process and quotation period requirements, and minor administrative updates, including clarification of references. The above amendments to the policy reflect Council's commitment to enhance strategic oversight and accountability of our procurement activity and expenditure, raise procurement capability and standardised approach, facilitate increased value for money outcomes, and further strengthen our commitment to local suppliers through improved transparency and visibility of council opportunities. The procurement policy with track changes is provided in attachment 1. The recommendation is that council adopt the procurement policy for 26-27 financial year.
Happy to move, councillor Chewy.
Have a second.
Thank you.
Just with a question for Ms. Paish, if I may.
Sure.
So if we go to the policy review, Ms. Paish, on page 4, under purchasing thresholds, there's quite a large piece of the policy that's been removed. That's just because of the updates in where we're going
Through the
space.
To the chair, yes, that's correct. So one of the changes to the local government regulation in December 2025 included a description change for the tender threshold. So where it used to state the estimated cost to council, it now states the award value for a contractual arrangement.
Yes.
And as such, that is no longer valid. Removal is in line with legislation.
Which is great. So it's keeping in line with the legislation, making sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's.
Today.
Well done. Thank you.
Good. We've got a mover and a seconder. Those in favour? All in favour? Thank you very much, Tal.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
We move on to 4.5, delegations to the Chief Executive Officer, and Ms. Kerr will present. Good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning, councillors.
Morning, Ms. Kerr.
Thank you. Today's report is required under the Local Government Act Section 257, where council is required to undertake an annual review of delegations from council to the Chief Executive Officer. The delegations register is attached to the report and highlights some changes recommended under the Local Government Act and the Planning Act. The changes specifically align with the changes to the Local Government Act as of 1st of July and include some changes to competitive neutrality principle complaints, changes to major policy decisions during caretaker periods coming into quadrennial elections, and power by the CEO to give a remedial notice to any property owner or occupier of a property under legislation or council's local laws. The Planning Act changes include being a party to a community benefit agreement and the power to amend or sign those community benefit agreements, power to act for council to act as a referral agency for all development applications, the power to act as a responsible entity for all change applications under the Planning Act, and power to agree to enter into a community benefit agreement for a development application or change. And lastly, the power to request the CEO to refer any entity for mediation under the Planning Act. So today, the officer's recommendation is that all powers referred to in the document titled Register of Delegations Council to CEO are hereby delegated by Council to the Chief Executive Officer of Council pursuant to Section 257(5) of the Local Government Act 2009. Thank you.
Thanking you.
Happy to move.
Thanks, councillor Baines. Pretty straightforward, really.
Second, that Chair.
Second, thanks, councillor Littlemore. Those in favour? Carried, thank you.
Thank you.
4.6, roadmap to stronger futures, and Mr. Gruffin will present.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. This report seeks Council's formal participation in the Roadmap to Stronger Futures, a collective impact initiative led by the Community Support Centre Innisfail to improve outcomes for children and families across the Cassowary Coast region, from Aloomba to Cardwell. The initiative brings together community organisations, government agencies, service providers and local leaders to better coordinate effort, share responsibilities and support the long-term vision for the Cassowary Coast Child and Family Hub. Steering committee will provide strategic oversight, regional representation and informed decision making to guide the initiative's planning, implementation and sustainability. The report recommends that Council authorise the Chief Executive Officer to execute a memorandum of agreement and appoint Councillor Baines as Council's representative on the steering committee. Council's participation will support stronger collaboration across the region while ensuring its representation acts in accordance with Council's policies and legislative obligations. Importantly, participation in the initiative does not commit Council to any future funding or resource contributions. Any future commitment would be subject to a separate report to Council. So there is a recommendation there. It's that Council authorise the CEO to execute the memorandum of agreement between the Cassowary Coast Regional Council and Community Support Centre Innisfail for participation in the Roadmap to Stronger Futures initiative. They appoint Councillor Baines as Council's representative on the Roadmap to Stronger Futures Steering Committee for the term of the memorandum of agreement, with Councillor Baines to represent Council in accordance with Council's adopted policies and legislative obligations. And thirdly, it notes the participation does not commit Council to any future funding or resource commitments, with any such commitments to be subject of a separate report to Council.
Very good. How long is the memorandum of agreement? What's the term? How long?
3-year term.
3 years?
3 years, I think, yeah.
Just didn't see that mentioned anyway.
Just open up the agreement, just.
Sorry.
Expiry date June 27. It's only 12 months.
12 months, sorry.
12
Yeah.
months. Okay, there you go. Very good. And you'll bring us a report on that, councillor?
Certainly, Madam Mayor, if I end up being appointed, of course.
I don't think anyone's going to fight you.
Happy to move.
Happy to move, councillor Chewy.
Thank you.
Happy to second.
Councillor Pervin, councillor Jessup.
I think this is just going a long way to make us the most livable tropical community. I mean, this is bringing everyone together with, and all the voices to be heard. So very happy with this. I can't see anything. I mean, it's not costing anyone anything to sit down and talk. So this is great.
No.
Great to see. Love it.
If I may, Madam Mayor, with your indulgence, now that I have been appointed, thank you. It is an honour to be appointed into this position.
We haven't voted.
Oh, you haven't?
No, we've just moved.
We've moved in second. So, yeah,
True. Oh, I go to the vote.
the vote. Those in
Oh,
favour.
I don't know.
No.
Oh.
Thank you. All right, now you
And
may.
to reiterate, Councillor Jessup's very kind words, it is very important that we're at these tables. There's a lot of work being done within our regions by differing levels of government and different departments. And do we talk to each other often and well? Probably not. So it's a very important piece to be at the table. I do believe that I have that strength of let's keep things at a high level as well when we're having these discussions. And then as we're moving forward with different pieces where we may need lobbying or we may need to approach other areas, that's of course when we can all work together. But if we're not at the table being part of the conversation, you don't know what you don't know.
So how often is this, how often are they going to meet? Do you know how often they'll meet?
Yep. So initially we're meeting once a month while we're getting established. They have set up a Teams link, which is a closed Teams group. So because a lot of the discussions we have will be quite confidential. So some of the reports I'll bring may end up hitting the confidential part of the agenda. But as we move forward, but then we're having these conversations as we move along. So as it progresses, I'll make sure I try and bring reports back to council regularly. So.
Because if it's to keep us all connected, then it would be great for us to have a report so that we're all on the same page.
Yep,
Thank you
100%.
very much. All right, no worries.
Chair, can we have a short break, or could I have a short break?
Yes, we can call a break.
Thank you.
Item 4.7, the operational plan 25-26, and Mr. Gruffin will present.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, attached in this report is the final progress report for Council's 25-26 operational plan. It outlines the performance against the initiatives established to deliver the strategies and objectives of the corporate plan. Of the 82 initiatives identified for delivery, 73 were completed, representing an overall completion rate of 89%. The remaining 9 initiatives are reported as off track. These initiatives remain strategically important, with delays generally resulting from external approvals or consultation requirements. There are some great achievements in this plan. Some of the highlights around Council's involvement in Under Healthy Communities, Council's involvement in ADOC Week and Reconciliation Week, Council's continued partnership with Vocational Partnership Group to deliver the Cassowary Coast University Hub. Almost 100 students there now, which is incredible. The delivery of the community grants and support program. We spoke about that earlier today, but that has been a significant impact for our local community organisations. Under livable places, we've had the advocacy for the development of the Port of Meridian Industrial Development Area, and Council recently purchasing a block to have some skin in the game in that space. The advocating for increased funding for road resilience, maintenance and safety upgrades across the region. That has we have seen significant works and safety upgrades on the Bruce Highway and other state roads. Funding the sealed priority unsealed roads through betterment funding applications. So great to see work on Granadella Road, Jubilee Road, Schuylkill Road, Warrabullen to commence shortly as well. Advocating for the Queensland Government and Deputy Premier for the acquisition of Port Hinchinbrook, so that PPDA is in place. And we had a meeting yesterday with the PCG group, and looks like the dredging program is starting to come together, and the market sounding is sounding very promising. So we're hopeful to see some mud start to move towards the end of this year. Develop and endorse the Council's water security strategy. Council now has a water security strategy and some capital projects from that strategy over the next 10 years. We've delivered the Illuminate Cassowary Coast project, Canyon Park and Anzac Park in Innisfail. Under sustainable environments, develop the Hull Heads and Tully Heads for management plan. The constraints have been identified in that space. We have collaborated with the Cassowary Coast Feral Pig Executive Oversight Group to coordinate feral pig management. We reported recently over 800 pigs have been taken out, and that trapping program continues across the region. We've progressed flood mitigation and stormwater infrastructure planning across multiple priority locations this year, and that's meant that we have some capital projects that are funded and being delivered in the 26-27 financial year, and progressed development of the Cassowary Coast Waste Management and Resource Recovery Strategy, which we've seen some great, that's out for consultation at the moment. Encourage people still to provide any feedback around that strategy before it comes back to Council, but also some great progress with our Think Yellow program, and the community, pleased to say, certainly coming together, and we've seen significant improvement from over the last 12 months in the
Very much.
in the diversion from that recycling bins. We've facilitated a collaboration between the local chambers of commerce and business networks to deliver the Cassowary Coast Local Business Awards. Great event. It was great to see so many small, medium enterprises come together to celebrate what it means to be a business in the Cassowary Coast. Advocate for local business and commercial property owners to revitalise shop fronts and town centres. So 56 applicants achieved a 715% return on investment this year. There was a strong focus down in Mission Beach, but certainly great to see an uplift in our precincts through that program. The Mission Beach Town Centre Revitalisation Project was officially opened last year as well, which was a culmination of many of work, and great to see the private investment that's going into that area following that project. Under good governance, continue to identify alternate revenue sources to reduce Council's reliance on rates revenue. We've progressed negotiations for the Cassowary Coast Regional Council certified agreement, so that is in the final stages at the moment of negotiation, and review and redesign of Council's workspaces to encourage employee engagement. Did mention there's a couple of items there. So Reg Services 3-year plan, is in a draft stage and will be brought to council for endorsement in 26-27. The Currambine Beach wayfinding signage, this was workshopped with council. We're just waiting on approvals from DTMR now, so we're still sitting with TMR to get the locality of those signs approved for installation. A new planning scheme was deferred based on the delivery of the Far North Queensland Regional Plan. We were aware that that would be provided late in 2025. We saw the draft come out in May 2026. It was gazetted the 6th of May 2026. So that has meant we've had to defer that review of our own planning scheme until that has come out, but that certainly is progressing now. We've still got some work with our traditional owner working on country programs. So the team are engaging with Girragan and Marmoo to continue to put those together. Those negotiations are ongoing. And we're currently undertaking a significant amount of community consultation on the Chowai Parklands and the Innisfail CBD waterfront. So the initiative 63, 64, 65 are all pending that consultation. So obviously the river revetment approvals are pending design or revetment design, and that engagement both with community and the direct users, our marine operators within that area, is critical to make sure that we get that design correct and fit for purpose. That will allow us then to put together a business case to start chasing some funding to deliver those works. So there are a number of amendments that are suggested there. There is a recommendation there, and that recommendation is that council, that recommendation is that council that the quarterly review of the 25-26 operational plan to the 30 June 2026 be received and the requested amendments approved. If there's any questions, happy to take those.
Councillor Jessup.
I've heard a lot of, thank you, Chair. I've heard a lot of people saying, why are they reading up the Esplanade? Can you give us a little bit of foresight? Like, obviously we're not just revitalising that area just so we can spend some money. We actually are doing a revetment wall, and there's a lot of works need to be undertaken in that area. Is that correct?
Look,
tell me and put their minds at ease that we're not just wasting money on something that they don't.
Well, look, I think like we've seen in Mission Beach, where you do see that public investment of funds, and we saw in Mission Beach a significant investment from both the Cassowary Coast Regional Council, the Queensland government and the Australian government, you then see the flow on of private investment and confidence come back in, and we've seen new businesses coming into Mission Beach. We've seen heavy investment in Nala Resort, in the Wyndham Resort, the Mission Beach Resort. We've seen a number of development applications come through in that area. So it's twofold. We certainly know that the existing revetment there, the dead man anchors are ready to fail. There will be a point where that revetment does fail. We've also got tired and ageing infrastructure in there, which needs to be replaced. So as that comes out, the idea is to come back in with something that is fit for purpose and meets the community needs. So really important with that engagement at the moment that we clearly understand what people are using that area for and what they will be using it for in the future. But yeah, whilst there's a requirement to renew that infrastructure, there's also that public investment of funds will hopefully bring back some confidence, bring people back into the CBD and hopefully draw people off the highway into the Innisfail CBD. So it's twofold to make it a place and a space that our community and visitors want to attend, a place and space where we can hold some of those events that our community is well known for, but also to rectify some failing infrastructure that we certainly know at some point will fail, and do it in a time when we have the relevant approvals and design in place.
Another thing that people are asking me is the business awards, are they set to continue?
Through the chair, we're certainly the intent is to run the business awards and to make those an annual event. Yeah, the feedback that we received from those business awards and the recognition that those businesses that were nominated got was exceptional. So yeah, absolutely, the intent would be to create an annual event. Whether council at some point in the future steps back from that and the leadership committee or a future chamber take that event over, but certainly this year council will be looking to progress with those awards.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm happy to move.
Thank you. I've got a couple of questions. So you mentioned the wayfinding signage for Curramine Beach. What about the Warina Lakes?
That's in there as well. So they're both sitting under the same initiative. I think we talked about Warina Lakes standardising the type of signage we use that aligns with DTMR's current schedule and the style guide they use. At the moment, it's just fine-tuning the locality and getting those approvals through DTMR, because all of the locations that we're looking at sit within DTMR road corridors.
A little better than the signs that they've got up, I must say. Sorry. Also, there's been a bit of banter about council's involvement with catching pigs. You know, whilst somebody might say that big deal, 800 pigs is not a lot of pigs, well, it's not really our core business and they don't have to do it. So I think that the 800 pigs that were caught within that program is quite significant, given that, you know, those people that we have working in that area don't just look after pigs, they look after a much broader part of our
environment.
No. They look after biosecurity, they do lots of things. They're not just doing pigs. So could you elaborate on that for me, please?
Yeah, look, council got in the game, absolutely. Council decided to fund half an FTE in that feral pig coordinator's role. We went out to industry and said to industry, look, we've got the capacity to expand this role. Would you like to provide some funding and we can put some additional days through this existing position? Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of support or commitment of financial support from those key industry bodies. We were lucky enough to secure some funding through Terrain to ensure that we could have that role as a full-time role. But yeah, look, coordination of these activities is the key. Council can't resolve a feral, but look, I think it's probably fair to say that in the wet tropics, we'll never rid ourselves of feral pigs. Just the nature of the land, but we are one of the more significant land holders within the region, but the state government is another one of those, as well as private land holders, and it needs to be a coordinated approach through that executive oversight committee to ensure that we are each party is playing their part in dealing with feral pigs. But you're right, they're only one part of the biosecurity challenges that our team are working with.
So it would be more helpful for people to get on board and work with us rather than
100%.
Absolutely, and the shoots that we do, getting on board, assisting with some funding if you're looking for those to operate in your own lands. The traps that our team are handing out, taking those traps, utilising those traps, monitoring those traps. But yeah, it's going to take a coordinated approach just to keep some level of control with our feral pigs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, through the chair. And it's 800 pigs that we did catch.
Exactly.
So 800 less pigs out there. And our officer is monitoring that camera 24/7. Those cages have cameras on them that something happens, the officer can deal with it straight away. So it's not, just willy-nilly. And also just remind people that once, as we reported last month, that human beings are interfering with the process that council are trying to do by interfering with the traps, and therefore preventing the pigs from going near the traps because of human interference. So, we need to work together and not be
Pointing the finger.
circles and pointing at, yeah, exactly. We want to get the pigs caught and trapped. So work together and not try and, run your own race. Yeah, anyway, enough said, but yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that those traps that are monitored 24/7 are the ones that are actually on council property. The ones that are actually hired out or are on private property are to be managed by the person who owns the property, not council.
Yeah, and through the chair, like most of council's land is road reserve or foreshore reserve or these sort of peri-urban areas. So where we're seeing most of the pigs is, coming out of either that interface with the national parks or obviously on private property as well.
Councillor Baines?
Thank you, Chair. You've really covered off on most of this stuff really well, but I think the important piece, and we kept coming back to it, was it's about the cumulative effect of all of us working together. We're now getting data out of Defence. We're getting data and support out of Queensland Park Service, National Park Service. There's some really great stuff going on, but remember that everyone has their own biosecurity obligation, and we will do whatever we can to facilitate and assist. But great point you raised. If the trap's been out and it's on your land, our officers can't really work on private land. That's for you to look after yourself. So I'm not saying that these efforts, because the team is doing outstanding work, and Mr. Graffin made a great point. And we can never speak about the eradication of pigs, not just in the wet tropics, probably in this country as a whole. We had success on Kangaroo Island, but that was a big fire that got rid of 90%. And then I think the last 2 pigs cost $1 million each to get rid of. But
Right.
So one area has been eradicated so far. But again, I just encourage community, come and be part of the conversation and come and work with us. That's what we want to do. 800 pigs is not an insignificant number. We know there's a lot more than that there, but unless we start working together, we're facilitators in this space. I commend our team. They're doing excellent work.
Thank you. The mover?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Baines. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. Go on to Castlereagh Coast Regional Council Annual Local Government Association of Queensland Conference.
Thank you. The 130th Annual Local Government Association of Queensland Conference will be held in Cairns from the 19th to the 21st of October 2026. The conference provides an important opportunity for Queensland councils to influence the LGAQ Advocacy Action Plan, engage with state and federal decision makers and collaborate on issues affecting local government and regional communities. The report seeks council endorsement to submit an advocacy motion for consideration at the 2026 LGAQ conference and also to approve attendance by the mayor and nominated councillors at the conference. Under the LGAQ conference standing orders, motions adopted by the conference remain active LGAQ policy for 5 years. So where council has undertaken a review of advocacy items that could be taken to the LGAQ, we've taken into account not just those that have been previously in the last 5 years raised by this council, but those that have been adopted by the LGAQ and advocated for by all 77 local governments in Queensland. As a result, a number of advocacy motions previously submitted, they relate to Works for Queensland, community safety, insurance affordability, the Reef 2050 and primary healthcare. They all still remain active and they're all still being advocated for. Accordingly, the only motion proposed for submission in the 2026 event is an amendment to the Animal Management Cats and Dog Act 2008 to allow lifetime dog registration. So this motion seeks legislative amendments to provide Queensland local governments with the option, and I think that's the important part, it's the option for local governments to offer lifetime dog registration while retaining annual registration where preferred. It also recommends that dangerous and menacing dogs remain subject to annual registration requirements. So if your dog was deemed dangerous or menacing, you wouldn't be able to have a lifetime. So we can continue to monitor those animals. With the conference being hosted in Cairns, Council has the opportunity to achieve strong representation at reduced travel costs while advocating for local priorities, engaging directly with ministers and government agencies and participating in professional development and networking opportunities. There's a recommendation there, and that's that Council endorse the submission of the motion titled Amendment to the Animal Management Cats and Dogs Act 2008 to allow lifetime dog registration to the 2026 Local Government Association of Queensland Annual Conference and authorise the CEO to make minor administrative or editorial amendments in consultation with the Local Government Association of Queensland, where required to improve clarity, ensure consistency with LGAQ submission requirements, or facilitate acceptance of the motions, provided that the intent of the motion is not materially altered. So it's really just saying sometimes LGAQ come back to us and say, we've got another local government with something similar. Would you mind if we combine the two, as long as that motion's not materially altered? And second, approve the attendance of Councillor Millwood, Councillor Jessup, Councillor Baines, Councillor McLeod, Councillor Pervin, Councillor Chewy and Councillor Littlemore at the 130th Annual Local Government Association of Queensland Conference to be held in Cairns from the 19th to 21st of October 2026, with registration, travel and any accommodation costs to be funded from Councillors' 26-27 conference budget allocation. Any questions?
Moved by councillor Chewy, councillor Pervin.
I'll second it. Thanks, Chair. Mr. CEO, just wanted to know, would you be able to bring us back a report, possibly next month's council meeting, if it's not too soon, or the one after, just on possibly last 5 years motions put forward by the Cassowary Coast Council, just to give us an update on what is actually happening with some of those motions? Yeah, if you don't mind.
Live and
Good idea.
Yeah, just what's live and what, just so the people can understand what we're going there with the community in mind and what we're trying to push for and advocate for, and how, if things are progressing or if they're basically being squashed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been some time. We have got a few currently, before.
Yeah, absolutely.
councillor Baines.
I was going to say, because there was a review of, I think there was the Reef 2050. We also had another reef related. So through consultation with council and LGAQ, we combined those two together to even get more strength. So that some of those things could bring forward.
Councillor Jessup.
I think that there's a lot of, there's people that are thinking there's a lot more pressing issues than this to go to the LGAQ. But what they don't understand, and unless they've been told or we have a report, is that, yes, we're still looking at insurance. We're still looking at the bigger picture things that we can't resubmit. So we're just adding to it, not as such, because we can't add it a second time.
Yeah, and look, through the chair, I think every year we see 160 to 180 motions go to the LGAQ conference. So you take that across the last 5 years. When you start to look at advocacy pieces, most of them have been captured at some point. This one was last put forward, I think, back in 2016. So it's not a live motion at the moment. So we'll be re-enlightening this motion.
About the cats and dogs.
Yeah.
I just seen a write up in it yesterday in the Cairns Post about this. Did you see that?
I must have had a look at our agenda, I think.
It's a agenda item. I think it's come from when you look.
Oh, do you think it came from
It
that?
does. When you read the newspaper story, it is.
It's good. Someone's reading it.
Look, and I think through the chair, the feedback, the community it is something that they would like. I mean, still to be registered, we would have microchips and, we have a better idea of, which animals are within the community.
Yeah.
And it's certainly for a local government, potentially a significant reduction in administrative burden for these animals.
And this is a little bit off subject, but we did take a motion, I believe, about levies going back to the actual.
Yeah, so
it got knocked down, but is there any capability of us changing the wording or to bring that back again?
Try and resubmit.
through the chair, I think through the debate on that motion,
I remember now.
most local governments are saying that they actually want more ability to be a decision maker on those level 1, 2, and 3 levies. our argument was, as a smaller local government, we don't have that internal expertise. So, you know, to bring in an expert to consider one levy, and often when you've got one unapproved levy, as you move downstream, you've got 2, 3, 4 or 5 that follow that. It's a significant cost to smaller local governments, whereas having those professionals in City of Gold Coast, Brisbane, those larger local governments, they want to be the decision maker, whereas from our side, the state have those individuals in-house, and we would prefer them make that assessment on whether a levy's category 1, 2 or 3.
Okay, sorry. Thanks for that. We've had a mover and a seconder. So those in favour? Harry, thank you very much. We move on to asset sustainability 5.1, the cardboard walking network plan, and Mr. Brunetto will present. I always want to say Brunello. Sorry.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The report I'm presenting to Council today is for the Cardboard Walking Network Plan. To give you some background, Council secured funding to undertake the walking network planning through the Queensland Department of Transport and Main Roads Walking Local Government Grants. These grants have been identified as a key way of achieving the Queensland Walking Strategy 2019 to 2029 vision of making walking an easy choice for everyone, every day. In the 25-26 funding round, Council commissioned Hartex Group to develop the Cardboard Walking Network Plan. A major component of the Walking Network Plan is to identify recommended actions to achieve improved walking environments, consistent with the agreed vision. On the key links identified in the Walking Network Plan, the Walking Network Plan recommended actions have been developed in consultation with the community and internal council stakeholders to identify barriers, opportunities and priorities for walking in one of Council's major centres. Overall, the actions aim to improve walking environments to key destinations within and to and from the precinct for all ages and abilities. The priority actions aim to achieve a step change towards the vision and achieve improvements for people walking in Cardboard. The Walking Network Action Plan recommends 76 projects to improve walking environments to and around key destinations within the study area, of which 25 are identified for stage 1 to be delivered within the next 5 years. With constrained budgets, Council will not be able to complete all of the actions in the plan within a timely manner. As such, it's recommended to use the timings and implementation order as a shopping list of actions to be incorporated into Council's existing works program and other projects where possible. An extensive list of upgrade works is proposed within the works programs. Council will need to consider the priority of these projects alongside other upgrade projects within the transport network and factor these into future revisions of the Transport Asset Management Plan and long-term financial plan. Future funding opportunities with TMR are available to specifically support the delivery of projects identified within walking network plans. The top priority projects identified were crossing improvements across the Bruce Highway to provide safer, easier, and more efficient active transport options. Overall, the Cardboard Walking Network Plan combines a data-driven approach with community feedback to understand key walking routes within Cardboard. Based on the Walking Network Plan, a prioritised work program has been developed with a focus on improving the standard of existing walking facilities, removing hazards, and providing new footpaths. Within the Walking Network Plan and the Works Program features over 70 projects providing increased connection to the CBD and the Cardboard Transit Centre and other points of interest within the township and promote more active transport users. The recommendation is that Council adopt the Cardboard Walking Network Plan and Priority Works Action Program. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've got a couple of questions. I believe there was good attendance at this network plan.
Yeah, we had a little session we did at the library.
Yeah.
And we had about 12 to 15 people came.
That's really good.
And they collaborated and they shared what they had to say and it was good.
So
you.
Cardwell's a little bit different, given that the Bruce Highway is their main street.
Yeah.
Do we, I would imagine that anything that we have to do in that area to make it safer, we would have to go through main roads.
Yeah, so TMR will be important where projects affect the Bruce Highway, Victoria Street corridor, or any other state-controlled corridors, and council need to work with TMR on approvals, design outcomes, and delivery opportunities.
So, do they allow zebra crossings on the highway? I just, it's a stupid question, but it's one that.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
It would have to, you would have to see what the environment is and assess it based on the standards. Going off the standards, I couldn't say yes or no, but you'd have to assess it.
Okay. So that list that's in here, that is just that's a priority list out of all of the
So out of
projects.
these are the 22 of the stage 1 projects that have been identified in order that.
But then that list could still be narrowed down due to.
Well, based on other funding things we do or other projects we're doing in the area to incorporate that. If we're doing works in a certain street or an area and we've identified a footpath or connection should be done in that area, we could combine the two, saving time and money in the process.
Very good, very good. I like to point that out because, you know, sometimes community expectation outweighs our ability to actually deliver. So yeah, we have to take all that into consideration. Councillor Baines.
Thank you, Chair. And it's probably a good point that now that we have the Cardwell Working Network Plan in place, that is a document we can use to attract funding around the healthy walking networks and etc. Yeah. Oh, well done. Great features.
Accessibility. So accessibility grants, can they relate back to some of these projects?
Yeah, so we use, when I've done SIP funding for the schools, black spot funding, active transport funding, having these documents like the Innisfail Walking Network Plan and the Tully Walking Network Plan have been really helpful in securing funding, as we have commissioned someone to identify why we need these pathways and connections, and then we use that to justify to the state and federal government why we need funding to deliver these projects.
Cool.
Well done.
That's a little more.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you did mention before about the number of people that attended. It was a very good turnout, and the people that were there, we had a fairly good cross section of people.
That's my question.
They all worked together very well, and when ideas were promulgated or promoted, they were well received by all the people that were there. So the people that came to the consultation were talking sense, and they agreed with each other, which is even better.
Okay.
So yes, and Chair, I'd like to make the recommendation because it's an excellent piece of work.
Thank you.
Happy to second.
And by Councillor Baines. So Jessup, did you have something to add? No.
No, it's already been covered.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, very good. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to getting some of those things ticked off the list.
Got to find the money.
Oh, we'll find it.
Thank you.
Let's put that. Next, we have 5.2 facility use agreement, and Mr. Valente will present.
Sit as far away as I can.
You've got it too.
I've been through most of us, I think.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone. This agreement relates to a proposed facility use agreement to be granted to the Innisfail Turf Club over what is known as the equipment shed or the starting stall shed at Pease Park. Innisfail. Under the proposed agreement, the existing improvements being the shed would be transferred to ITC. The facility use agreement does not require a resolution from council. However, the transfer of that structure does, because it exceeds the limit in our policy and in the legislation. So for that reason, we need a resolution. So section 2361B2 of the local government regulation allows for a disposal of a valuable non-current asset to a community organisation without public tender or auction if there is a prior resolution from council to apply that exception. ITC does qualify as a community organisation under that exception. We've been working with the committee of both Innisfail Turf Club and the Innisfail District Show Society about the grant of the agreement. They are in agreement. The agreement, however, will be to ITC, although it will guarantee Innisfail District Show Society a guaranteed use of a small area in that shed for their own storage purposes. About 9 square metres is all they said they require, and that's incorporated in the agreement. There is no intention of council to continue to store any equipment in that shed. Historically, it was used to store some mowing equipment used by council at Peace Park. All of that equipment is now stored at the depot. I think that was since there was an employee, Vince Clear, there mowing all the time, but now he's retired and no equipment is being stored or intend to be stored in that shed. So council, we have no objection to granting an agreement to ITC to take ownership and a long-term use agreement over the shed so they can continue to store their equipment, which is primarily that large starting barrier. So the recommendation is for council to apply the exception contained in section 2361B2 of the local government regulation to grant a facility use agreement to Innisfail Turf Club Inc. containing the following key terms. The user is Innisfail Turf Club Inc. Facility is the equipment storage shed at Peace Park, Innisfail, being part of lot 259 on plan NR 2069. Term of the agreement will be for 5 years. There is no fee attached to the agreement. There's no outgoings attached to the agreement. There's no electricity, water, etc. in the shed. The permitted use will be equipment storage shed area and associated ancillary uses, and ownership of the improvements will be transferred to ITC under the agreement. Secondly, a recommendation authorises the CEO to execute the facility use agreement on behalf of council, and thirdly, authorises the CEO to take all necessary steps to ensure ongoing compliance with all terms and conditions of the agreement. There are financial benefits disclosed in the report of depreciation savings of over $2,000 per annum.
Very good.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No, second, Chair.
Have you moved?
Moved by councillor Toohey, seconded by councillor Littlemore. Those in favour? Carried, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope you get better soon.
Thank you.
Number 6, planning services, and we've got Mr. Jones and Mr. Horton presenting. Morning.
Morning. Madam Mayor, councillors, good morning. Horton, Mr. Jones. Thank you. Council 6.1 is material change use for short-term accommodation, tourist park, parking facilities and rural industry, produce packing and function facility, and a reconfiguration of a lot boundary realignment. Within that, it's on lots 40, 41 on SP 169219 and lot 5 on RP 846543 and located at 87 and 113 Alexander Drive, Mission Beach Council. The application is broken up and the proposal includes formalising the existing 11-bedroom Airbnb on lot 5, 7 new self-contained accommodation pods, a 17-site caravan and camping area with shared amenities. There's a conversion of existing warehouse into administration building and produce packing facility, a function area for weddings and similar events, and recreational access to existing walking and mountain bike trails. As part of the assessment council, it was referred to SARA, it was a state assessment and referral agency, as a current agency. SARA assessed the proposal against the relevant state interests and issued a referral response with conditions. That response has
been incorporated into the conditions of this approval, council. As we understand, the state control road goes down to the creek system. There's a bridge there just after the jetty, council. So this property fronts that state controlled road. Importantly, following discussions with council, the applicant significantly amended the proposal, reducing the maximum vent capacity from 500 to 200 patrons. So we had to get that amended originally in the application to start with because it wasn't real clear, the function component. So it was originally put in for 500, reduced to 200. But as you'll see in the conditions, council, it's reduced and tied in to 250. Reducing the overall event area, so we had noise reports and so forth done, council, addressing that and seeking to understand those locations and those impacts to neighbouring properties and so forth. As the next point is increasing the setbacks from neighbourhood residents, so understand where those houses are and the location of where they are. So that's been taken into consideration as well. And the technical information, including the independent acoustic report, which to help that. It was impact accessible and went through public notification. Council received 47 properly made submissions and one petition containing approximately 40 signatures, council. The concerns there were the scale and intensity of the proposal, the noise from the function facility, hence the acoustic report that was required. Traffic and road safety, well, traffic and road safety gets addressed, especially around the turn-offs by DTMR under the SARA process. Environmental impacts and cassowary habitat, as we know, over those three properties, council, there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of rehab area and so forth. There's waterway management, visual amenity and pressure on local infrastructure and public facilities. These matters were carefully considered throughout the assessment. Officers are satisfied that the amended proposal utilises previously undisturbed land, retains significant environmental values and supports low intensity ecotourism consistent with the planning scheme strategic intent. Technical assessments demonstrate that traffic, stormwater, wastewater and environmental impacts can be appropriately managed. In relation to the function facility, an independent acoustic assessment concluded that the acceptable noise outcomes can be achieved, provided appropriate operational controls are imposed. Accordingly, the recommended conditions include strict controls over patron numbers, hours of operation, frequency of events, amplified music, parking and traffic management, wastewater management, environmental protection measures and ongoing compliance with the acoustic assessment. Overall, officers consider the proposal achieves the appropriate balance between supporting sustainable tourism and rural economic diversification while protecting the environmental and amenity of the locality. The application is recommended for approval subject to reasonable relevant conditions. The recommendation is that council issue a development permit for material change use for short-term accommodation, tourist park, tourism park and facilities and rural industry, produce packing, function facility, and the reconfiguring of lot boundary alignment, 2 lots into 2 lots on land described as lots 40 and 41 on SP 169219 and lot 5 on RP 846543 and located at 87 and 113 113 Alexander Drive, Mission Beach, subject to the conditions in attachment 1. Council, happy to answer any questions.
Councillor Pervin.
Thanks, Chair. Mr. Horton, so 41 submissions, I think it was, that were lodged. So I know you've gone through it in the report there, but just in a breakdown, a lot of those submissions that were put in, have they been addressed? You know, gone back to the developer and said.
Through the chair, Councillor Perman, the majority of submissions were about the function facility component, and we requested that acoustic noise report primarily due to those submissions that we received. We also took into account what was raised in the submissions by the residents around that area, particularly to the north of the site, and the acoustic report came back and recommended those controls. We've gone a step further and had a further look and spoken to a number of different councils in the area which have similar function facilities in these rural type areas, and we've imposed pretty consistent conditions with that as well.
Yeah, no, myself and fellow councillors, we actually did an on-site inspection of this site just to give us a insight in depth of what they had proposed, and it really opened my eyes up. I was expecting to see it fully vegetated, but a lot of that land actually is not under vegetation. And the proponent has actually said that he will be putting more vegetation in as well.
Yeah, through the chair, it's a very large site. It's when you look at it from the road, it's pretty deceiving. It goes a long way back towards the national park at the rear.
Councillor Choi.
Sorry, through the chair, thank you. Yeah, my main concern when this initially came up was the traffic management, because that road near Perry Harvey Jetty there is not a good road. There's bends and there's hills. That has all been taken into consideration. They have to have traffic marshals should there be significant event.
Through the chair, yeah. So that part of the road network is a state controlled road.
Yes.
Referred to the to DTMR through the SARA process during the assessment process as well. They did a traffic impact assessment, and DTMR reviewed that and came back with their conditions of development. We've imposed the traffic marshalling when you get an event around 100, just to help the flow from the road to come in a lot quicker, and those people to be able to disperse from that access.
Because it is potentially, it's not, that road is not made for a lot of cars. So and people are coming and going, visitors are frequenting that area. So it needs to be good management there. So I'm glad that has been considered as part of the proposal.
Councillor Jessup.
Thank you, Chair. I see that there's a maximum attendance of 150. So if there was, in essence, a bigger event going to happen, whether it would be a community event or a larger wedding or something, larger style, is it something that they can then basically put in to get a permit to use it for more people, or is it going to be strictly 150 attendance?
Through the chair, the condition is for 150 persons. So it's really around them managing that and, providing that advice, that's what we cater for, and a lot of them are limited that way throughout.
So they wouldn't be able to then come to the council and say, oh, we've got 500 people coming, but.
Through the chair, no, because conditions are they run with the land and they run with the approval.
So no permit would be available for.
Not under that, because the type of permits that council issue are around reserves. That process. So if we're having the fishing classic at Curramine, we'll issue a permit for that event on the foreshore within the reserve area. That's when we get into that permitting process under the local law. This matters around the use of the land for that purpose, and the conditions that are involved around that are as per the approval.
And if they were to increase on that, Mr. Horton, that existing number, they'd come back with a updated application to council.
Through the chair, they'd come back for an intensification of that portion of what they want to do. You don't have to come back with the whole application. It might be just a portion of that function facility. They might change that in the future. He might build a new building, that caters for 250 people, but it's enclosed. The acoustics are all done, those types of aspects. So he might come in later on, change that dynamic just of that component.
It's presumptive.
Yeah, so he'll come in and he'll do intensification just on the function facility component.
So, and then that would come back to council?
Through the chair,
Correct.
Yes.
Have to.
Yes.
Would be
But you're only dealing with that portion. You're not going to go and deal with the produce packing or any of those components. If it's around that number, it's only around that component.
Okay. So they're still packing bananas there as well, are they?
Produce.
It's got produce.
Yeah.
packing
Through the
produce.
chair, that is currently not operating, but he's looking to do some small niche crops in that area, which may require a very limited amount of packing on that site.
Well, it was an eye opener going there, because after all the submissions, I didn't really know what I was going to expect when I got there, but there is a large area of cleared land in there, but there's also a large area of vegetation. And I do hear your concerns about the traffic, but keeping in mind that when Perry Harvey Jetty was in progress, there was a hell of a lot more traffic back then than there is now, and I believe than this particular proposal would bring. There was also concerns around public amenities, but they've got their own amenities on site.
Yeah, through the chair, we've conditioned as part of that they'll have their own amenities for the camping component, the short-term accommodation. There's existing toilets in the Airbnb building, but we've also conditioned additional toilets for the function facility component.
Okay, that's good because there's not really, I don't think you'd be walking. It's a fair distance to get this road. So, yeah.
Through the chair, yes. Through the three sites, it's a large area.
It's huge.
So, you know, just going back on the traffic, you know, a lot of these places that run like these and, you know, everyone's been to a few different weddings and wineries. A lot of times people are staying in the area and they organise the bus that picks up, you know, the two buses, not very often, you know, everyone comes in individual cars for these types of functions. You know, the areas there, so.
And I believe that they're in touch with keeping the likes of the cassowary and environmental impacts close to their heart because I think they are much in love with all of the green stuff and that was proven when we went there and how they are doing up there.
Renewables they're using.
Renewable energy and how
Battery,
they dropped all that. What was that called? It's like a drainage.
Swale.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're turning into like a detention pond, but naturalising it at the same time.
Amazing. So
Significant.
yeah, I think that they're doing the right thing in that area. So
Yeah, through the chair, we've put conditions in there around fencing as well, being wildlife friendly too, even though they don't necessarily want to do fencing, we've still put that in as a potential condition.
okay.
We've also put in conditions there around no dogs
Yeah.
and the cassowary information stuff, which we've done with similar DAs in that North Mission Beach area.
Very good. Councillor Littlemore.
Chair, in the absence of a mover, I'd like to move the recommendation.
Thank you. Second. You're happy to second, Councillor Jessup? Thank you. Those in favour? All in favour? Thank you. Carried. Going to move on to 6.
I'll be leaving there. Thanks, Chair.
No. Again.
Talked about them. Councillor Pervin has. Thank you.
Council, we've got a development application for material change of use or outdoor sales and low impact industry on land described as Lot 2, RP 707279 and situated at 76 Shore Road, Gundi. This application seeks approval for material change of use. The proposed development comprises an equipment hire business and vehicle repair workshop. The proposal includes reinstatement of existing shed for workshop and storage purposes, a servicing area for vehicles, machinery and hire equipment associated with the business, 4 40-foot shipping containers for secure storage, a gravel hardstand access and manoeuvring area, 6 staff and visitor car parking spaces, outdoor storage areas for hire equipment. The site is already cleared, has access to Council's reticulated water network, electricity and telecommunications. It's located within the rural zone with frontage to Shore Road and the Bruce Highway. The surrounding area is characterised by agricultural activities together with an existing commercial industrial use immediately to the south. As part of the process, the application was referred to the state, given the fact that it was located adjacent to the Bruce Highway. The state condition of no direct access is to be provided via the Bruce Highway, and access is to be provided via Shores Road. The application was impact accessible and underwent full public notification. During the period, we got 1 properly made submission objecting to the proposal and 6 letters of support. The objection raised related concerns to the proposed land use and scope of activities. There was some, at the start, there was a little bit of ambiguity about what was actually being applied for. We're able to get that sorted out during the process. Environmental impacts, dust generation, hardstand surfacing, mud tracking and road safety onto Shore Road, stormwater and drainage, building suitability and compliance, planning and enforcement and procedural matters. The letters of support highlighted local investment and economic growth, job creation, support for local businesses and contractors, increased local purchasing, improved access to equipment and services, reduced transport costs and improved operational efficiencies, strengthening of the local construction industry. The officers assessed the proposal against the relative provisions of the planning scheme and satisfied that any potential impacts can be appropriately managed through conditions of the approval. The applicant also provided a traffic impact assessment as part of the works, which indicated there would be no major impact on Shores Road. We've conditioned an upgraded commercial access crossover coming off Shores Road and hardstand areas to deal with some of the issues which were raised in the submission around basically a material being dragged onto the road as the people are coming in and out of the site. We also condition landscaping and fencing, noise attenuation, odour management, chemical storage and disposal, parking arrangements, infrastructure upgrades, and restricted opening hours to protect the amenity of neighbouring properties. Overall, the proposal is generally consistent with the intent of the Cassowary Coast Planning Scheme, supports local employment, business growth and economic development without resulting in unacceptable impacts on surrounding properties. The recommendation is the development permit be issued for mature change of use, the outdoor sales and low impact industry on land situated at Lot 2, RP 707-279 and situated at 76 Shore Road, Gundi, subject to conditions in attachment 1. Happy to answer any questions.
You? I've got a question around the containers. Those containers will be suitably fixed to the ground with the requirements that are they already?
Through the chair, they're sitting on blocks at the moment, but they will have a building application and the appropriate inspections to ensure that they're tied to the.
So have they got a building application or they've yet to apply for that?
Through the chair, that's been conditioned heavily in the conditions of the approval that it's got to be applied for in a certain time frame.
I mean, you know, I get that we never want to stop anybody from starting any sort of a business, but you know, the one thing that is very gets my goat is that people come and do these things without the proper requirements and then ask for forgiveness later. So, you know, sometimes you've really got to put the pressure on and understand that, you know, please come and see us before you go and do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councillor Baines?
Very happy to move the recommendation. And I've gone through all of the conditions that have been set out, and I think they're more than appropriate. So footings for a shipping container, you virtually put an application in for a 10A shed, really, aren't you? Yeah.
The four of them, through the chair, we got designs done last year. Council got designs done for a 12-footer, 20-footer and 40-footer.
Yeah.
Design footings that we hand to people to put in as part of their application because we were finding that it was taking so long to engage with the amount of work that is around. It's nothing against the engineers, just that amount of work that's around, that these types of little things take up time. So we thought it'd be best to just do it. Then we can provide it to the person to be able to do that, and that's offered. They can get their own designs done as well, but we just thought it was a better place to do it. Then we can get them in quicker, we can get them done.
It's almost an accepted development piece. We're not guaranteeing that'll happen, but yeah.
Gave you options.
No, that's right. That's a good idea. And as I said, all the other conditions are great. Well conditioned. It's good.
Happy to second that, Chair.
Second. Any further comments?
I'm happy with the change.
I have a further comment in the conditions. So the condition is that they've got 6 months, I believe. 6 months to reach all of the
certain components. What I've done is condition it through the chair, condition it in a way that time frame to lodge it, get it approved and then get the works done. So I've tied that all into the condition where from the date of this approval going into, if council approves it, going into force, and the decision is from that time frame, they've got a certain time period to get that application into council or through private certification to be assessed and approved. But I've also conditioned in there that the works need to be carried out in a certain time frame from when that is approved.
So in that particular time frame, is there like, I'm happy for all that to go ahead, but I don't think they should be servicing vehicles in there until such a time as all the conditions are met.
Through the chair, council can put that in the condition. There's nothing stopping council. If council feel that they want to add to that condition too, they're quite welcome to. We just tried to do it in a way that was reasonable from what we saw in dealing with the application and trying to get everything dealt with in in a formulated way that was, I suppose, provides them time to get it in and get it done. And I gave it that reasonable time frame because I know I get requests all the time where people come back, I can't get an engineer, or I can't get a builder, or I can't get someone else. So the timeframes I've done, I think are reasonable. But if council think that there should be a shorter period because they have done the wrong thing and started without approval in place, I'm happy for council to amend that.
I just would like to see that. I'm happy for them to do the rest, their hiring and everything else, but I think if they're going to be servicing anything but their own vehicle, in my opinion, I would like to see that that doesn't happen until those specific requirements that are for just the servicing bit are met before they actually start to operate with that. I don't know, do I need to amend that, Mr. CEO? What do I need to do?
We could probably amend that through the chair just for the, there was a statement around that in the recommendation.
So which condition are you talking to specifically? Which may?
Condition 2.
Around the servicing.
So through the chair, is council happy with the first part of it, of those timeframes, or do they want to change the timeframes of that first part? It says at the moment, the applicant owner must ensure the application, shed, building and plumbing and drainage, including the on-site wastewater treatment system and shipping containers are lodged and approved within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Is that time frame reasonable? Does council want 3 months? Happy to discuss taking effect of the works and completed within 12 months is what I've got is, and the certificate classification of Form 21. There's just 2 parts to that because you can have a Class 7 and a Class 10 component there.
Councillor Jessup.
May, through the chair. I've thought long and hard about this, and coming from the food industry, rules and regulations are there for a reason, so people don't get sick. People are doing the right things. And then it runs into every other business as well. There is red tape and then there's red tape. Whilst these people have still already been working in this establishment already without any of these conditions at the moment, I think that the 3 months to get that, was it the shipping containers lodged? 3 months is fine. 6 months I'm happy with.
So through the chair, you want 6 months changed to 3 months and then completed within 6 months.
6 months to certify.
All right. So
I'm happy with that because I know what it's like when you're trying to start a business, and let's just say this is not a food industry. It's not going to make anyone sick at this stage. It's an environmental impact type of thing. And if they are containing it in a way and can prove they're containing it until they get those things put in, I'm happy. I know it's hard to run a business and you've got red tape upon red tape upon red tape. And I think it's about time we start giving some of these places a little bit of leeway and a little bit of time to get that stuff done.
A little bit of leeway. I think they've been already trading for 12 months, have they not? I think that's more than enough leeway.
That's true.
To give a business that is supposed to meet all of these conditions before they even open their door.
Chair.
Very
sorry. So yeah, 12 months.
No, well, through the chair, if we just go back to the condition 2. So we're amending the condition to reflect 3 months of the approval taking effect and works completed within 6 months. Are you happy with that, council?
I would be. I
Yep.
think 12 months is excessive given that they've already been trading for 12 months.
Just through the chair, do you want to remove the approved aspect of that? I'm just concerned if the applicant submits 2 months and 30 days, does that put a requirement on council to unreasonably have to approve?
Might be privacy.
Just
We've got to be cautious around this.
that just be, I mean, if it's, are we satisfied if it's lodged and it's on council's timeframes to get the approval?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
What's part of the fair and reasonable piece?
Yeah, that-
One would
Is that fair and reasonable, in your opinion? Professional opinion?
Chair, we usually turn that type of, if there's no issues with the application, we aim to turn them around within about 2 weeks max. So
Yep.
I think, but having that in there would be,
At least,
yeah,
Okay.
they've lodged it with us by then, it's in council's court to go through that
Make sure
process.
that that's covered then.
Yeah, so through the chair, can we capture, it's just probably, are we adding an extra dot point just to, that council amend condition 2 to state that it'll be that top point in condition 2, Mel, it's the applicant owner must ensure that all applications, shed, plumbing and building and drainage, including an on-site wastewater treatment system and shipping containers are lodged within 3 months of this approval taking effect and works completed within 6 months.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
support that.
Yeah, as long as because the officers thought that the original was fair and reasonable, but as long as it's workable.
It's through the chair, it's workable within those timeframes.
Okay.
I think that's a workable
Yeah.
time.
So is it,
So do I have to move a new motion or am I amending?
Just amending, yeah, so if you're amending that, so if council, if you're comfortable, we could add
No,
that.
councillor Baines, you moved the actual recommendation. Are you happy for?
Well, look, if the officers are comfortable and we believe it's achievable, the last thing we want to do is make it not achievable either.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what we want to do. And we haven't had the best year for this sort of work. All of us probably recognise that. So, I mean, there could be a circumstance where there are extenuating issues in the future, but that's something we'd have to consider as well, I'd suggest. But I'm happy with that as it stands and happy to leave the motion on the table.
Councillor Littlemore?
Yes, Chair, I'm happy.
Okay.
Do you want me to, do you need a seconder for the amendment? Or are you, how are we doing this?
Is it an amendment? What's the
Through the chair, if you'd prefer just to move,
recommendation? So,
councillor Baines wants to remove his, he moved the original recommendation. If you want to remove that, we could just move the motion that includes the additional clarity. Through the chair, are we comfortable with I guess I'm predominantly looking at the on-site wastewater treatment system. Are there sufficient contractors that if we were to see that lodged in 3 months, we were to approve that in 2 weeks, that they could reasonably have that engaged and installed within 3 months?
2.5 months.
2.5?
really?
6 months for the water.
Or is that 6 months?
6 months.
6 months from post approval.
Approval that we
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe you need to make it 3 and 6, 3 and 6, 3 and 9.
works completed within 6 months post approval.
From that approval.
On that approval date.
From taking effect. So we've got 3 months to lodge it, get it approved. When that approval takes effect, they got 6 months to do the work.
Yes.
Yeah, so through the chair, councillor Baines, are you happy to move that, but to withdraw that?
Include that.
Or to include, or to move a motion that
we can include that in the conditions in attachment 1, is that?
think the recommendation there is 2, and if we put an additional dot point into that recommendation, that is just to amend addition 2 so as that the applicant owner must ensure that all applications, shed, building, plumbing and drainage, including an on-site wastewater treatment system and shipping containers are lodged within 3 months of this approval taking effect and works completed within 12 months of
6 months.
6 months. 6 months of approval.
Approval,
Yeah.
yeah. Happy with that.
You happy with that?
That's fine.
happy to second it.
Moved.
I'll second it. Oh,
You moving?
You're happy to move that?
Councillor Little?
yes, okay.
Second that
Beg your pardon. Okay.
amendment.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, guys, for the confusion, but I just had to get that right. Okay, so moving with the amendment, we've
Yep.
got it moved, we've got it second, so those in favour. Thank you.
Thanks, council.
Council.
Thank you.
Sorry about the
Appreciate it.
confusion,
No,
guys.
that's all good.
It's all good.
No, it's good. We're here.
To work with council. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. We move on to general business.
Gentlemen, see that?
Look at you,
Thank
councillor.
you. I'm
She's nearly knocked me out of the chair.
I don't know.
Mr. Valente, could you ask Mr. Valente to come through?
About the show.
Mr. Horton. Oh, thank you. I just need Mr. Valente. Oh, there he is. Thank you. I appreciate you staying back for this, knowing that you're not feeling great.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll just touch very quickly. There's been some community concern at the Bingle Bay Campground. Mr. Valente, could you just explain a little bit of the backstory and remind people about the community meeting that is coming up, that we are hoping there will be sensible, reasonable and respectful discussion on this matter?
Yeah, I'll be attending that meeting. I just want to set out all these facts to who are present, which identifies the issues. It's a little bit complicated, but we hope there is a solution that the local community will agree to with Juru. So historically, council ran that as a campground. It's very underutilised. When the on-site caretaker left, Juru expressed interest in continuing to operate the campground, which we agreed to. Juru agreed to allow public continued use of the playground or the day use area, which sits right at the back of the campground. That wasn't an issue. In fact, the facility use agreement, which was signed with Juru, guarantees that in the agreement. The issue, however, is what the public's right to vehicle access to get to the camp, to the playground is. And a lot of factors involved in that. There's a misunderstanding. A lot of people think the road is within the road reserve. It's not. We've had it surveyed. The road reserve is actually on the hill. It's got passed through the campground, then comes in a little bit into the road reserve, and then you get to the, so there's no guaranteed public road through the campground. The road reserve is actually to the side. And we've surveyed that and made sure of it. The other reason is there's virtually no parking for vehicles at the playground. You have to bear in mind the whole campground is only 2,400 square metres. It's very tiny. A lot of that sits actually on the beach and not able to be utilised. So it's difficult to expect Juru to dedicate part of the campground to public car parking. There just isn't the space. Other reasons are vehicle access is causing an issue with campers and particularly children, with people driving through. There has been an issue with a lot of antisocial behaviour occurring there, and police have been notified. And that's an issue again stemming from vehicle access. So there's all those reasons that we need to try and find a solution. Can we limit, or do we allow Juru to limit vehicle access? They certainly welcome pedestrian access. We understand the issue, of course, is people with mobility restrictions may need vehicle access to get to it. Bearing that in mind, there is a council public day use area right on the beach, 400 metres away. It's on the beach. It's got barbecue facilities. It's got toilet facilities. It's got adequate car parking, which we think is a viable alternative. The locals, however, are very, connected to that area, I guess you could say. So we're trying to find that balance between that local expectation for that continued use versus Juru's activation of the campground more. And to their credit, they are looking, there's a new board of Juru who are very active and are looking to expand the use of that campground area to make it more utilised, which it needs to be, otherwise it just is not financially viable for anyone. And perhaps looking at possibly Indigenous tourism operating from there as well. So there's a lot of good things that Juru, the new board of Juru, are looking to do. They involve limiting vehicle access though. They're all the issues, and we hope we can find some compromise that balances.
So the meeting is Tuesday?
Oh yes, next Tuesday evening, 28th, at the Bingle Bay Cafe, starting at 6 p.m, and I'll be in attendance.
And I believe you are. I believe Sergeant Smith is going to try to attend as well, because we definitely said we do talk about respectful behaviour, and we hope that that is the case. I know it's a very emotional subject for the residents of Bingle Bay. I truly appreciate that, but we do have to be mindful of behaviour. So thank you for taking the time to stay back to explain that.
Any questions?
No, more of a comment really though. So those people that are emotionally connected and have been going there since they were born or since they were little, can still actually go there.
Yes.
So they're just saying that they just don't want you to drive in there. So you can still park, you can park in the car park that council provided across the road and walk through there. So you can still use the facility. It's just the actual vehicle access that is an issue. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. I think there's a minor issue about use of the campground toilet by the public too. And
Once again, from what you told me, that we've had that facility being misused and then causing huge problems and costs to have it unblocked and stuff because of, once again, bad behaviour, which we see in a lot of our public toilets. We've had that discussion with other toilets in our area. So,
I mean, we generally support you if they wish to close that to the public because it's been abused and it's only a small septic system and it needs to be constantly pumped out at their cost. In principle, we have no objection to that. And again, there's a public toilet 400 metres.
Oh, and as we said, we don't walk along Porter's Promenade and think we're going to duck into the Hideaway pub toilet, do we?
No, that's correct.
It's the same thing applies.
We're just trying to balance the interests of Juru who want to improve the
Manage
site
it properly.
and the locals who expect some sort of access to it, including with vehicles, which is the issue.
In practice.
I hope that there comes a positive solution for all and that we can all work together to make the area a very nice space for everybody. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then, of course, I can't be me without mentioning the Tully Show. I'm looking out constantly at the sky. It's Friday, Saturday. The committee have my hats off to the committee, which is more or less one family that run, they do such a wonderful job, and all the volunteers. Pavilions are full. I've seen them. They're fantastic. The show rides are filling up. It's very exciting. So support your local community, support your local community service groups that are there fundraising. And see you at the Tully Show.
Get a waffle.
Rotary Fish and
Love a waffle.
Thank you. That's it from me.
Councillor Baines.
Just for councillors and for the public, that 18th of August is Vietnam Veterans Day, which will be celebrated by all of the RSLs across the region. So if you do get the opportunity to pop along, that event is very close to my own heart. As my father's not come home from Vietnam, but it's always a great occasion. And please go out and support your local RSL sub-branch. Thank you.
Councillor Jessup.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Trudy, for mentioning the show, for Tully Show. It's the last one on the circuit, so last chance to have a bit of fun, and looks like, we're going to have nice weather. So enjoy. That's all I can say on that. Coming up on the 29th of July is the citizenship ceremony at the Shire Hall, if anyone's attending that. And there's also in Tully 100 years for the Masonic Lodge, and there's a reenactment meeting. And that's happening on Saturday, the 1st of August from 3 till 5 p.m. and everyone's invited. It's really lovely. That hall is magnificent. And it's really nice to see how things used to be done and still get done.
Great event.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to go and look at and be involved in. So you never know. They're always looking for younger people.
Absolutely, they are.
Them as well.
And I know the inner guard who'll be letting people in. So
Yes.
Having a ball as well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
on the Friday night,
Having a ball.
And
dead ball.
then they've got a ball as well. So, but this is a reenactment. So yeah, you'll get to a little bit more insight on the Masonic Lodge. So,
Excellent.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I just wanted to, going to ask you to do this, Mr. CEO. Talk a bit about our PCG meeting with Port Hinchinbrook yesterday. I just wanted to advise the Cardwell community that they advised us that the ramp will be open for the Barrabash. We'll be able to get in and out. However, there will be people starting to move around and do works down there, so just be mindful. Don't know how much more we can.
Yeah, I think the historic PA has always had a suction cutter dredging. So I know there's been a lot of talk about whether mechanical dredging or suction cutter would be best. Mechanical would mean you'd have to block off the creek and the 1 mile. and have to mechanically remove the mud, which would mean you wouldn't have access from the boat ramp for a period. So they appear to be progressing in a way that they are hopeful that they can replicate the conditions of the previous environmental authority, which would mean that they would suction cut. So effectively, they would be moving around fairly discreetly, pumping mud. That mud would then be transported through a series of pipes and disposed of in what would be a lined facility now, they're saying. So some of those concerns around acid sulfates and others would be mitigated through that process. But that would mean that, there would be some impact around the car park. They might use some lay down in other areas. There might be times of the day where there's work in areas that make it more challenging, but certainly appears that they are strongly focused on stakeholders down there and engaging very regularly with the commercial stakeholders down there as well.
Yeah, that we asked them to keep us informed so that whatever they're doing, we can put out on our socials and keep the community informed also. So we'll keep you updated on what's happening there. I just want to let people know that there are some roadworks going on at Marillion, which is Transport and Main Roads. They are intending to put lights in there. It has nothing to do with council, but please be mindful of all of the roadworks along there. Watch this space. I guess there's going to be lots more going on, as they tell us, in the fixing the Bruce. We're a part of that. We're a big part of that. There's a lot of work going on between Innisfail and Tully at the moment. So just wanted to warn you about that. And also we have finally got the go-ahead for the Flying Fish Point Basin. We have received the funding. I believe that we are in final design, and once the design is complete, we will go out to the Flying Fish Point community and give them a rundown of what it looks like, and we'll go from there, I guess. Anybody else got anything to contribute? No.
We have that time.
We're going to close.
We'll just close that. Hang on.
Confidential, but
We will just
I mean, we have to close.
look for a mover and a seconder. The meeting will now be closed to the public in accordance with the Local Government Act, Section 254J13.
To float.
Legal advice obtained by the local government and negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a public discussion would be likely to prejudice the interests of the local government, to consider the following confidential reports. Item 8.1, quarterly outstanding rates and debtors report. 8.2, DRFA sealed roads restoration zones 1 to 9, and 8.3, DRFA landslip restoration Tully Gorge Road. So
Happy to move if you don't expect me to repeat all that.
Baines
happy to second.
and Councillor Chewy. So those in
Happy to-
favour? Thank you. Carried.
Cool.
Okay, so we will move out of closed session. Can I have a mover and a seconder to move out of close? Councillor Jessup, Councillor Pervin. All those in favour? Thank you. We'll move on to 8.1, outstanding rates and debtors report, and Ms Vick will present.
This report's presented for council information regarding the status of the outstanding rates and charges, as well as our sundry debtors to the 30th of June 2026. An update regarding legal action is provided also. The recommendation is that this report be received and noted.
Thank you.
Happy to so move, Chair.
Moved by Councillor Littlemore,
Happy to second.
seconded by Councillor Chewy. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Thank you very much.
One.
I invite Mr Chugg up to present the next two items, 8.2 DRFA and 8.3 DRFA. Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, all.
How do you?
Thank you. So 8.2, the purpose of This report is for Council to consider the award of a contract for the delivery of sealed road restoration works funded under the Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements, DRFA. The works comprise approved restoration of essential public assets, REPA, activities arising from the North and Far North Tropical Low Event of February 2025. In February 2025, North Queensland experienced a significant and prolonged rainfall and flooding event associated with an active monsoonal trough and saturated catchments across the region. As a result, Council was activated for assistance under the jointly funded Commonwealth and Queensland Government DRFA. This is administered in Queensland by the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, or the QRA. An open request for tender was undertaken to identify a suitably qualified contractor with the demonstrated capability and capacity to deliver the sealed road works across the Cassowary Coast region under a single contract. The proposed works comprise the restoration of sealed road infrastructure, including pavement reconstruction, stabilisation, asphalt repairs, bitumen spray sealing, edge repairs, shoulder reconstruction, drainage improvements, and associated civil works. Council received 2 conforming tenders. The submissions were evaluated against the approved evaluation criteria, including price, relevant experience and past performance, resources and schedule, key personnel and technical skills, understanding and methodology, and local content. And the recommendation of this report is that Council 1, accept the tender for contract CCW 384, DRFA REPA Sealed Roads Restoration, as submitted by Risley Enterprises Proprietary Limited. 2, note the tender value with Risley Enterprises is $5,103,329.45 ex-GST. 3, in accordance with the Local Government Act 2009, delegate authority to the CEO to enter into a contract, negotiate, finalise and execute any and all matters associated with or in relation to the contract subject to Council's procurement policies and practices. And 4, thank the state and federal governments for the funding provided to this project. Do you take any questions?
Councillor Jessup.
I don't really have any questions.
Happy to second.
My question was, is there an actual list of all of those sealed roads that are going to be tended to?
Chair, there certainly is very widespread damage across all the 9 zones that are set up across the region, but it comes, and the funding in this comes from damage assessments of specific damage, so down to each pothole, each edge repair, each treatment. It is then consolidated by road and by zone for the damage assessments for the QRA funding approvals. So absolutely we have that level of detail of exactly what treatments are approved and proposed on what roads.
And I only asked that question because I was asked the other day about a particular road, and I think it might be part of this, but I can speak to you about that later. All right. Thank you. So Councillor Jessup has moved, I believe.
Bain seconded.
Bain seconded. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much.
To the next report, 8.3. In December 2023, Cyclone Jasper crossed the far north Queensland coast, causing extensive and widespread damage throughout the region. Again, in February 2025, North Queensland experienced a significant and prolonged rainfall and flooding event associated with an active monsoonal trough and saturated catchments across the region. During each of these 2 events, landslips occurred on Tully Gorge Road, and Council was activated for each of these events for assistance under the DRFA administered in Queensland by the Queensland Reconstruction Authority. On 30th of June, Council invited quotations from contractors appointed to its slope remediation preferred supplier arrangement, COW 170, for the remediation of the 2 main landslip sites along Tully Gorge Road. These proposed works comprise the stabilisation of 2 upslope landslips The first of these will be through the installation of soil nails, drape mesh, shotcrete, rock scaling and a rockfall barrier. And the second will involve earthworks, geotextile installation and rockfill placement. The request for quotation closed on 17th of July with 2 conforming submissions received from experienced regional and interstate-based contractors. All respondents tendered for the complete scope of works as a single contract package. The purpose of this report is to present the evaluation of the submitted quotations and seek Council's approval to award the construction contract. The procurement process achieved competitive pricing through the preferred supplier arrangement and supports the timely delivery of essential landslip remediation works funded under both the TC Jasper and February 2025 DRFA programs, improving the resilience and ongoing safety of Tully Gorge Road. Recommendations of the report are that Council 1. Accept the tender for contract CCW 396 Tully Gorge Road landslip remediation as submitted by Australian Ground Engineering Proprietary Limited. 2. Note the tender value with Australian Ground Engineering is $5,447,887 ex-GST. 3. In accordance with the Local Government Act 2009, delegate authority to the CEO to enter into a contract, negotiate, finalise and execute any and all matters associated with or in relation to the contract, subject to Council's procurement policies and practices. And 4, thank the state and federal governments for the funding provided to this project.
Happy to move.
I'll second.
Thank you, councillor Baines. Moved, councillor Pervin second. Any questions for or against? No. Those in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chung, for
Thank
your
you.
presentation.
Thank you.
That brings us to a close.